Hi, I'm Amy Hannon, and nothing thrills me more than people and food. I'm a preacher's wife, a mom of 3, and I own my own specialty kitchen store. I've kept an open door and a well-stocked fridge, which means I have fed a lot of mouths over the years. So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to my kitchen. We're making Huevos Rancheros today. Isn't that a fun one to say? I had to practice it before we started just to be sure that I got it right. I don't want to say it wrong. We love this, and I actually have not been making this recipe very long in my world, but I have a 10th grader, my sweet little Isaac, and he had eaten this one time or was especially fond of kind of the fried egg phase, you know, this fad where everybody's putting a fried egg on just about everything. And so he and I kind of came up with this one time when we were just having supper by ourselves. Huevos Rancheros is loaded with protein and fiber and all that kind of good stuff. And a lot of this you actually probably have at your house if you're like us. We always have tortillas and eggs. Most often we have black beans, as a matter of fact, in our pantry, just kind of for whatever we can, you know, sometimes I throw them into chilies and all that kind of stuff as well. And then just a few fresh ingredients, and it's really quick. It's a little bit of chopping on the front end, but nothing too hard, and there's a lot of flavor. I mean, lots of flavor. And there's a little cool bite and that little runny, creamy bite and that good bite of seasoned black beans, a little crispy, and so it's just really a great dish to make. And another thing that's really great about this is that you can just make one, and so you don't have to make 10 all at one time, and you don't have to feed an army with it. You can just, you know, make one or two just as you need it, kind of a short order, quick meal. I know that most people usually think of eggs as something that you make for breakfast, but this really is a great lunch and a really great light dinner. We'll eat this just on any given weeknight if it's just me and Sam, or again, just me and Isaac, because Isaac and I really love this. So let's get started. You're going to have a couple of things going at once, but I'll show you how to do it in order so it's not overwhelming. You can do it. I've just started with some black beans, and I know that a lot of people rinse and drain their black beans, but I actually like the liquid that's in them. I think it's a little bit kind of gravy based, and we kind of like that. We're going to mash these in a little bit, and so I really want that liquid that's in these black beans. So I just have 1 can of black beans, and they're unseasoned. So what I'm going to add to this is a little garlic, a little cumin, and a little bit of chili powder that I've actually already got in here, because we do want them to have some flavor. And I'm going to put these on a low simmer and just let them get hot. And I want to stir in those seasonings. And then we're just going to let these simmer. Then later, right at the end before we assemble, we'll give them a little mash. We love black beans. We like them straight out of the can. Oh, and I have a really great black bean soup recipe that is a piece of cake. It is a piece of cake to make. Lots of flavor too, so we'll have to make that sometime. Okay, so we've got our black beans simmering. One of my favorite bites of this whole dish is this warm, I'm trying to figure out what we want to call this. It's like a warm, garlicky tomato, kind of like a chutney, chunky salsa that just simmers really low on the stove. The flavor in that is fantastic. It's that kind of tart, fresh bite that you get when you're kind of getting that good hearty, earthy bite of the beans. So all I'm going to take are these little yellow tomatoes. I love the yellow. They are so sweet. And you can mix in some of the little red cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, whatever you would like. I love these yellow. And I think the color is really unique because you were so used to seeing red tomatoes. I'm going to do a few more. We're so used to seeing the red tomatoes that the yellow is just kind of a nice surprise. I'm going to rinse these. I think these are called sunburst, little sunburst tomatoes. And nothing too precise here. I'm just going to cut them in half because we're going to put these over in a little olive oil, let them simmer really, really low, and they're going to kind of come apart and mush up on their own over that heat. And so we're not going to even have these big whole, you know, these full halves. Those middle parts are going to kind of come out, and the skins are going to soften, and it's going to get all meshed around with garlic and a shallot. Oh, it's so good. You can actually make this little topping for just about anything. It'd be great on tacos. Okay, so we've got our tomatoes. I'm gonna put those aside. And then I just have a small shallot. I love these because they are kind of a sister to the onion. They're smaller, they're less potent. They have a little bit lighter flavor. And I just really love the way that they taste. And sometimes you don't need that whole big onion. You know, when you cut an onion and you've got a whole, like a big half of it left and you don't need it any longer. So these are just the right size for just a small little dish like this that we're making. Peel that paper off of there. And I may just do a half. We'll see. I'm going to see when I get it cut. If I were making several of these plates, then I would probably do the whole thing. I have to hurry because, you know, onions get to me after about 15 seconds. Okay, so I've just given that a little mince, just a quick little chop. And now I'm going to do a garlic. So we're kind of getting this little set going for this delicious tomato, warm, yummy sauce, chunky salsa that's going to go on the top. I'm going to chop this garlic, and when we come back, I'm going to saute it in olive oil. It's going to smell wonderful. Wish you were here. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, we're back. We're making Huevos Rancheros today. We have our black beans that are seasoned and they're simmering on the stove so that they're going to be nice and warm, and we're going to give them a little mash right at the end to kind of make a smear, a yummy smear that's going to go on our crispy tortilla. And I have just finished chopping a garlic clove to go with our little yellow sunburst tomatoes and part of a shallot. And we're going to make this really yummy little super slow simmer, kind of chunky sweet sauce glob that's going to go right on the top. So all I'm going to do here, I have this little petite skillet. It's actually the lid. This is kind of fun. It's the lid to this pot. It's a double up. This is the one that has our beans in it. So it doubles as a lid, or you can flip it and make a little skillet. Isn't that neat? This is Le Creuset. This is available at Unimaze. Okay, so I'm going to put a little drizzle of olive oil in here. And generally, I don't put the garlic in with the shallot at the same time. Remember, we've talked about that before because the garlic will burn so fast. But we're literally going to turn this on so low that it's really going to do more like heat it slowly instead of cook it really seriously. Not even a real saute. So we can put our garlic in. I'm just going to do half. That's a lot of garlic. We can do, put them in at the same time. And then we're just going to turn this on super low. And then at the end, we're going to add a little salt and pepper and some cilantro and good stuff to that. So I'm going to set this on the back burner. And I'm going to turn it down on a low, like 3. We want that oil to get hot and for all of that just to kind of mesh together. And we're going to give it a little mash too so it kind of turns into this great little texture. Okay, our beans are simmering away. I'm going to turn them down a little bit. So they're heated through, so I'm going to turn those down. All right, gang, so let's do this. I'm going to put my little dish away. I'm going to go ahead and do a little prep work for all the things that are going to go on at the end so that when it's time to plate, it's all ready to go. We don't want to chop cilantro at the very end because we want to just be able to grab it and throw it on. So just right off the top of this bundle, I'm going to do a rough chop. Oh, I love cilantro. It smells so good, doesn't it? Oh, and you know, my sweet Isaac, I think I've told y'all before, he actually doesn't like the cilantro. So I put it on mine, but not on his. And that's how this whole recipe is. If you don't love these tomatoes, then don't put them on there. And if you don't love avocado, don't put avocado on there. This is kind of up to you. You do not have to make it exactly like this, but you ought to at least try it once because it's good stuff. Okay, so we've got our cilantro is chopped. I'm going to go ahead and go around this avocado and take that pit out. Actually, you know what? I'm not. I'm going to just do this side. Let me get my spoon. We're going to scoop that out and make it into little skinny pretty slices. So I'm going to take my spoon and very carefully go right around the back, scoop all the way kind of deep down in there so that you get a really pretty, look, halve that pops right out, and look, there's nothing left inside. So get you a good big spoon. I'm hearing a little sizzle in the back, so let me check on it real fast. Yep, it's our tomatoes. And again, we want them to just barely saute, simmer, 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 but not burn. And we don't want to get color really, and we don't want to cook that garlic up too fast because you know garlic will cook too quickly. Okay, so now that that's gotten a little bit of heat on it, I'm going to add some salt because salt brings out a little moisture, and a little pepper. Okay, we're just going to let that keep going, and our beans are simmering too. Okay, so I'm going to slice a few thin slices of this avocado and set this aside as well. And you also, this is something else that I've said to y'all before, but you know when you salt vegetables, it actually brings out moisture, which is great. Like we've made mushrooms, some really good mushrooms that are coming up soon, and we salt those to get the moisture out. You do not want to salt an avocado in advance because it's going to change the color and they're going to sweat and you're going to start to see the moisture coming out and they won't be fresh and pretty like that. So don't salt those until later when you're just about to serve them because they will not be pretty and fresh like that. Okay, I'm going to stir our little tomato mix here. Oh, it smells good. Smells good. And I'm going to take my spoon and just give them a little mash as they start to warm up. Just to get that good fruit and those seeds to kind of come out of the middle of those. And then it starts to mash together and make that good texture that we want. So what we're going to do next is fry the most beautiful sunny side up egg and assemble this really great, easy, high protein, healthy dish for you when we come back. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
Hi, we're back. We're making Huevos Rancheros today. We have our beans that we've seasoned and they are simmering away. We've made this delicious little sunburst yellow tomato, kind of garlic and shallot and salted and peppered, delicious little warm salsa that's going to go right on the top. It's my favorite bite of all. And we're just about ready to assemble. I've got our avocado sliced and ready to go, a little cilantro ready to go, because once it's time to put it together, it's time to put it together. A fried egg doesn't wait. It is ready to be eaten when it's warm. And so we're about to get going on our beautiful sunny side up egg that we're going to slide right on top. So what we need to have first, you ready? I've got this great nonstick skillet. So you want a good nonstick skillet that you can make your eggs in. And let me tell you this is just a little personal preference of mine. You know, when you make eggs or crepes or something like that, that you really want to you really want to have a good nonstick skillet for those things. I have a skillet that I only use for eggs. That's it. We don't make taco meat in it. We don't make pancakes or anything else in it because eggs are so beautifully done and you want those to slide right out. And so I kind of have one particular skillet set aside that I only make my eggs in. And then I have another nonstick skillet that we do other things in. But eggs are so particular and they're so pretty. Think about an omelet, how beautiful that is when it slides right out of the pan. And so I have one that I just treasure and I keep specifically just for my eggs. And it's not even a very expensive skillet, but it's just special, set aside. Okay, so I've got that skillet warming. And what I want to do is just lay my tortilla right in there and let this get nice and warm. And I'm just going to run it around with my fingers. No oil, no seasonings, nothing like that. We just want it to get warm. Oh, this smells so good back here in the back, these tomatoes. and you can see it's starting to get just a little bit mushy. Oh, look, I busted one open. Oh, they smell so good. So I'm going to give that a little stir while I'm waiting for my tortilla to get warm. Yep, it's warm on that side, and I'm going to flip it on this side. And some people like their tortilla on this. Some people like their tortilla crispy. If you want a crispy tortilla, you could actually put a little bit of oil in the bottom of the skillet and do it. But I am just heating this in my precious, treasured egg skillet. And so I don't want to put anything else in there. I just want to use the heat on it just to get a little warm, not a crisp. But some people do like the crisp. So I think we're just about right. And of course, I think all things are better on a pretty plate. That's just kind of the way we do things around here. So that's nice and warm. I'm going to let that sit. Now, in my nonstick skillet, this is the way to make a really great egg. I'm going to swirl a little bit of oil, not a ton, just some. And then I'm actually going to wipe a little bit of it out with a paper towel, because we don't want it to be deep. We don't want it to fry, but we do want there to be just enough on the bottom that it gives us a little bit of crisp on those corners of a fried egg. There, I'm just giving it a little swirl. Can you see that? Make sure that we're covering all of our bases. But see how it kind of beat it up? That's how we know that it's just right, just enough in there. So we're going to let that be preheating a little bit on a pretty low temperature, probably about medium low. We don't want it to sizzle like crazy when we put it in. We want it to kind of cook a little low and slow so that the whites cook, and then the heat, we're going to lid it so that the heat will actually kind of continue to cook the top, so that that's so good. We want the whites cooked and that yolk warm but runny. So while that is happening, we're going to make that egg at the very, very end. I'm going to bring my beans over here. And then I'm going to take the back of my spoon and give them a mash real quick. Not mashed like crazy. Well, you could, I guess, if you wanted, but just a little bit to get some of that good flesh out of the inside of there. Okay, we're about to go 1, 2, 3 on this. I'm going to take beans, drain a little bit of the liquid off, and we're going to layer it onto this tortilla and let it help keep our tortilla warm. And we're going to fry our egg and put it all together really quickly when we come back. This is Cooking Today. We're back. We're about to wrap up Huevos Rancheros. I have a warmed flour tortilla, about a 6-inch right here. We've put our mashed, seasoned black beans right on top to kind of help keep that heat in there. And we have everything ready to go that we're going to top. We are going to fry our egg, and this doesn't take very long, so that's why we're going to do it at the very end. I have a skillet over medium-low with a little bit of olive oil in it. And you want there to be a little sizzle, but nothing that's going to be crazy because it won't cook evenly, and we don't want that. So we have our egg, and I'm going to go ahead. Don't you love that salt on an egg? It just needs it. So I'm going to salt the top, pepper the top, and then right away, what I'm going to do is put this lid right on top. And the heat and the steam that comes off of that lid will actually cook the top. So we have got everything ready to go, and I am watching this cook. Yep. And the side of this, as you can see, I'll lift, is getting a little bit crispy. Did you see how I tilted that to get that little bit of oil down there, that little bit of olive oil? And I'm just going to leave that lid on. There we go. I love these eggs. Don't you love eggs? What do you put them on, like burgers? I'm seeing them on all kinds of things these days. We're just about ready, and we're going to do it. Ready? Okay. I'm going to turn that heat off, and here we go to assemble. We have our black beans. I'm going to make a layer of our thinly sliced avocado. Even there already, That is beautiful, that green on that black. And another slice. And this is when you salt and pepper. Remember, we don't want to salt and pepper it right at the very beginning. A little salt. I'll save the pepper for the end because I love the way that pepper looks on top of the egg. Perfect. Beautiful. So pretty. We're going to slide this right down on top. Look, isn't it pretty? And then, let me get a spoon. We're going to spoon this, my favorite piece, right here. This tomato. Oh, it's so warm and yummy. This yummy, thick tomato salsa that's warm. I told you I was going to load it down. Delicious. A little fresh cilantro right on top. And even a little around the plate. Is that beautiful or is that beautiful? Oh my goodness. How about that? Huevos Rancheros. You could top this with a little bit of crema. You could do sour cream, little Monterey Jack cheese, whatever else that you would like. But this is good to go. You're going to love every bite. This is cooking today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh.